Hey there everybody, Eric from OUTER LIMITLESS coming at you today with another video. Now today I'm hiking into one of my favorite spots, actually going to be close to one of my favorite spots. A little bit of an adventure for me. I'm just kind of digging around. In the past, I'd say maybe month or so, I've been kind of exploring the woods where I live just a little bit deeper, trying to find a little pocket of land that's gonna be my own sort of spot. I'm trying to find myself a place for sort of like a bushcraft style shelter. And so I'm digging around, and today is one of those days. But in today's video, I figured it would be a great opportunity for me to get into some reviews of all of this great Vertx gear that we've started taking a look at. Now, as I mentioned, Vertx is a brand whose gear I greatly enjoy. Very comfortable, good all-day wear. And in this case, I am using it for the outdoor application. So the first product we're going to look at here today is this Gamut Overland pack. Now this Overland pack for me is kind of right in between that tactical style pack, a mid-size sort of backpacking, camping and hiking backpack, or maybe even a larger EDC or urban bag. Now for me, there are a number of bags that I naturally gravitate towards in terms of the size class. Sort of that mid 20 liter range EDC bag, sort of that 60 liter roughly camping and backpacking bag. So for me, this Gamut Overland is a bag that's kind of right in the middle. So as I go through this, I'm gonna figure out how this will work for me. Now as I'm hiking in here, I mean, the good thing about doing this is you get a real good impression of the ride quality. I mean, there is no doubt this bag is extremely comfortable. Fits beautifully on my back. The shoulder strap contouring is just about perfect. It feels really good. For the most part, I do like the straps. And there's no doubt that the hardware, you know, the zippers and the buckles are really nice and high quality. Now, there is just a couple things that catch me right away that I wish was a little bit of a tweak. Now, as I go through this, I am being just a little bit hypercritical to the standpoint that I really do enjoy Vertx gear. I think they make extremely nice, high quality and high featured products, but I am picky. Well, why am I picky? Well, bottom line is, to be honest, I just know what works for me. I mean, somebody in the gear review genre, I've tested a ton of bags, so I know what works and I know what I like. The first thing for me is, you can see here, I have my knife on my shoulder. Now, I really enjoy carrying a fixed blade knife vertically on my shoulder for a just a quick cross draw, pulling it off my shoulder. And the straps don't work all that well. What you'll notice is here, this chest strap, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. If you look at the mechanism and how that's held on, you can adjust it, and that's great. But it does limit your ability to get a knife in the proper position. And as you look, this is really sort of sticking out sort of funny, and this is a very small knife. So what I would really love to see is maybe a couple additional straps here, giving me the ability to get this a little further down and not just that one on top. Now, if I had to guess, this is probably there to help root a hydration straw and keep it where you need it. But for me, just a couple extra little straps here would make a big difference. Now the other thing that's just a little bit of a struggle, and I managed to make it work, but that was attaching my tripod. Again, keep in mind, for me and my typical activities, I'm looking for a way to use this bag. Now I thought for me it might be the perfect bag for this type of trip where I'm gonna be filming, I'm gonna be doing reviews, and I just need enough stuff to sustain me for the day. Maybe a little food, maybe a little coffee, my water, my tripod, my camera equipment, heck, a little change of clothes. Today it's kind of chilly, down around the freezing mark, so a hat and gloves, some things to keep me warm, maybe change a little bit. So this bag for me was going to be for that exact purpose. Now I did struggle, as I mentioned, just a little bit getting my tripod on here. I managed to make it work, but what happens is, because there's no place to attach it at all up on top, basically this slides down and it rides very, very low, and it kind of dangles a little bit. Now, it's not the end of the world, and there may be other ways to attach it. This is just my first go with this and my first take on how to make this work. And part of the reason why I think it's a little funny is just how the molly is on the front of the bag. So this is where I struggled just a little bit. If you look at the way these straps are in these molly fields on the front here, they do have Velcro. But for me, what I really wanted to do was take my strap, pass it behind all three of these, and at that point actually tie them in. Now in reality, this size strap needs to go through 4. So in essence, if I take this here, pass it through, they can't go through every other one because these are literally sewn to the bag. So only every other one pops up, which I think is somewhat standard on bags, but I'm just struggling with this for some reason. What I really need is for this strap to go down beneath the 4th row, so that then at that point I weave the top down around and it'll snap underneath. If you look here, there's just extra material, so even if I weave this down through the 3rd one, it's not really the way these sort of molly straps are intended to work. In reality, they want to be down through underneath the 4th set of webbing, so that when this goes around and snaps in, it's completely locked into place. Now this works for me and it gets me by, it's just not ideal. So enough about the negatives. There are so many positives on this bag. I really want to give you a rundown of all the features. Again, just a little bit windy today, but it's nice being out in this beautiful spot. The first thing is nice water bottle pockets on both sides of the bag on the outside, so that's working well for me. Just have my Nalgene, perfect, fits in there very well. This nice sort of springy shock material, that works very nicely. And also on the inside here, and just a little difficult to see, but there is a keeper, so that allows this to cinch down nice and tight. So holding your water bottle or your different things right on the side of the bag, nice and organized. But on the inside here, as I unzip this, this is also a nice size pocket, so a good sleeve there, and this also goes up into the top, so if you wanted to put a water bladder in there, you certainly could. Nice zippered pocket here to put some things. Now, you do run into just a little bit of competition of space, where if you have your Nalgene like I do on the side here, you'll see it kind of bulges through on the inside just a bit. You just want to be mindful of that and think about that as you're laying out your contents inside your bag. Now the exact same thing on the other side for me, I actually had fit my stool. So if you look, my walk stool, this full stool fits nicely on the inside here. Now, many other things that you could put, I'm just thinking about what I need and how I'm gonna use this bag and the types of things I'm gonna want while I'm out here doing reviews. So having my stool is definitely sweet. But this fits nicely inside, you see, just tucking it right up in the top there, tucking it back down into place, and zipping that up, no problem at all. That works very nice. And so now that I've changed up my tripods, this here, I can easily slip right down inside there, so that'll work well. As you can see, these pockets are useful for not just canteens, but many different items. Now the front of the bag, this has a few different features that are great. As you see, I have this molly field here. However, this Overland bag goes just a little bit more gray man if you don't want the sort of tactical look. And this panel here goes on the outside. Now this type of panel for me is sweet. Does a number of things. For me, on a day like today, I'm running around, I'm actually a little bit on the warm side. It would be nice to ditch the jacket. Well, once I get this clipped up, I can definitely do that and stuff it nicely inside. So you'll see this just uses these clips. I believe these are called G-clips, and they go right and nice on the side of the bag. Now that gives you your compression straps, but also completes this sort of system here. However, before I do that, what I want to point out is this is also zippered. So as I pull the zipper up, that basically encloses this entire panel. This is gusseted, so it's nice. It gives it some good overall room. And then you have a snap to reinforce that connection point. So then once that's in place, using the G-hook, pulling that in. Now that is another option for me for my tripod at this point. I could potentially lash it on the outside here. However, again, just another little difficulty is there's no connection points on the bottom. So even if you're gonna connect something using these compression straps, it's nice when you have a secondary point of retention just to kind of hold things at bay. That's maybe one thing I would suggest to Vertx is even if there are not permanent straps, just giving an accessory G-strap, leaving some loops in strategic locations so that if you wanted to, you could lash additional things to the pack. So now as you see, you end up with the MOLLE field and that Velcro on the inside of this, and now it is just nicely concealed. This bag has nice YKK zippers all over the place. They are very, very nice. They run extremely well and very smooth. And then again, just snapping that into place and taking the G-hook, lashing it on there. Now, this front panel is nice and stretchy. It's almost double thick, so good and durable. And then you'll notice this material on the side of the pack and in strategic locations. This is actually kind of rubberized. And if you look at the very bottom of the pack, that is an extremely durable bottom and sort of wear point on this bag, which I greatly like. Now, it sounds like I have a bunch of negatives. There's not a ton of negatives. I just think little suggestions and things that would enhance this bag in a future version. I love the ability to lash things to the bottom of my pack. Again, keep in mind, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to use this for myself. Now, I could, in theory, use this as a small hiking and camping backpacking backpack, but without the ability to lash anything to the bottom like a tarp or a tent, my shelter system, it kind of takes this out of that mix, and I'm kind of bummed out about that. I gotta say that with the amount of features and the quality of this bag, I just want to use it. But by being a little bit limited, it just limits when I can get it out there. So the ability to lash something to the bottom of the pack would be sweet. Now again, it doesn't need permanent straps. If you want to maintain sort of a low profile, just putting a couple connection points and then just getting some accessory straps that you could add on here would just be sweet. Now this here is a nice sturdy grab handle. You have a couple grab handles, but this one on the front, just that rubberized material, very well reinforced, just gives you another place to grab onto the bag. That's kind of nice to pull it out of the car, pick it up, sling it over your shoulder, works very well. But then moving to the top of the pack, this is very, very nice. This pouch here is a good size. Now I have opted to completely outfit this with all of my medical kit. So here, everything from a splint, my bandages, toilet paper, all my different sort of supplies that I need while I'm out there. Even brought some hand warmers and foot warmers in the winter time. You never know if you're gonna need those just to warm up a bit. And then in here, some additional items, some, again, just hand sanitizer, different things that I need while I'm out there. Even happen to just pack my toothbrush, simulating the idea that if I was going to use this for the backpacking application, I would definitely want some of these things. Now, it doesn't leave me much room for my food. I would basically, at this point, require keeping my food in one of a couple of places. I probably, in reality, would try to pack it in these side pouches, maybe in the front here, just a couple different things. So again, just thinking outside the box, could I potentially use this in the backpacking application? So now continuing on to the straps here, again, beautifully done, nicely contoured and definitely comfortable. Nice padding and ventilation, nice and wide, feel great on my shoulders. But again, there is that one little strap there. I wish there was more than one, or even this piece here. That looks to be part of the I don't know, it's just really trim, to be honest with you. I mean, that could even help gain a little bit of distance where my knife could go in, but no other real lashing points on there. It would be good to have just a couple of options. But again, just nice quality padded and comfortable contoured breakaway shoulder straps, which is cool. Breakaway can go either way for me. I mean, I understand it for maybe a tactical application. The other thing that's kind of nice, and it's a subtlety, but if you really wanted to, you could actually sort of crossbody this, maybe if you're traveling and just want the ability to kind of crossbody. But the other thing that you can do is basically stow all the straps away. So, you know, if you really wanted to pack this up and bring it on a plane, you can stow all of the straps nice and tidy. And then this back panel here, just this nice, large, massive back panel. As I unzip it here, you'll see this has this real big, obvious keeper on here. This is basically a little Velcro. You can put a name tag. Actually has a funny little slot back there. Might be, I don't know, handcuff key, something like that. But as I open this up, this is basically a ballistics panel where you can slide in ballistics panels for some bulletproof capabilities. Also has a ton of Velcro, so you could kind of outfit this if you want with your firearm. Use it for a concealed carry, number of different things. For me, this panel probably realistically won't get used all too much. For me personally, I just don't see how I'm gonna use it, but time will tell. But again, just the ability to take the straps, put them inside, and if you wanted to pack this up nice and tidy, you definitely can do so. The padding on the back, I love this padding. Very comfortable. Gives a little bit of a channel, but I do like this sort of hard molded foam here, but nice and comfortable, feels great on the back. I like the quality and a good durable material. But the other thing you'll notice about these straps, it's a little bit of a yoke system. So again, just kind of nice and hugs around your neck. Look at all of that. I mean, this whole thing just stitched on nicely. So that's going to do a pretty good job with the load. Now, it doesn't have load lifter straps, but it's not a large bag. Now, this is a 33-liter pack. So again, for me, in that backpacking application, it's going to be very tight. So if I was trying to go with a minimal kit, I definitely could pull it off. But this bag does weigh just a little bit more than your typical sort of lightweight and minimalist backpacking setup. For me, it would be really less about the weight, more about just the cool factor, the fact that this is a great bag, feels good on the back, and has good overall organization. Now the waist belt does have some MOLLE. This is sort of minimal padding, very thin, but it's comfortable. That's the other thing, is if I was going to use this for that sort of backpacking application, I would want a little more padding more towards the front. Now you've heard me talk about it if you watch my channel. I do greatly like the ability to hip carry different pouches. So for me, this would be a great opportunity to put a dump pouch on one side, my canteen on the other. But this is set really far back, sort of towards the back side of your hips, so it's a little awkward to reach and grab. Usually if these are slid a little more forward for the backpacking and hiking application, it works a little better. I don't blame it for the bag. It's not its real intended purpose. As I mentioned early on, I'm trying to figure out how this will work best for me. So now getting into the main bag, as I mentioned, this is a 33-liter pack. Now you do need to unbutton these side snaps and get them out of the way in order to open this up. So this is a full clamshell open design. So nice, heavy duty YKK zippers on the side of this here, just real beefy, robust zippers. And opening this up here, you will see the full contents of my bag. Now, this panel here, having some Velcro on top and a little admin section, has this nice durable pouch here. So unzipping there, you'll see I just kind of threw a headlamp in there for now. Again, trying to sort of test this out to see what kind of gear I can fit in the organization and if this would work for me going into the mountains. But again, a little more Velcro, and on the back here also more Velcro. This is capable of utilizing the Takagami system. Now, I've only put together one of the pouches here. I have a few. They're all different shapes and sizes for different things. Just kind of use this one here to hold a flashlight. Holds it in there nicely. And just gives me a little example of what can be done. So a nice warm jacket. Here I have, you know, my down. I have, you know, a hat and gloves. I have my shamag just to keep me a little warm, keep the wind down. I have a hammock and a small portable stove. So in a little bit, I'm gonna make myself, actually, of all things, some tea. I'm not a tea drinker, but I ran out of coffee and I needed something out here. So anyway, is this gonna work for the backpacking application? Well, hard to say. I mean, I know I'll be a little bit pressed for space, and especially without the lashing points on the bottom. I mean, what am I gonna do with my tarp or my tent? What am I gonna do for my sleeping bag? I'm not really sure. So I don't think this is really the right size at 33 liters for that backpacking application, but it definitely works well for a day like today out here in this beautiful place while I film some reviews. But that pretty much wraps up the inside. Now there is a panel. I'm gonna go back to the studio in a little bit and we'll get into that final panel in here. And then the other thing that you'll see, this does have a keeper right on top, basically for hanging a water bladder. So very simple on the inside of the bag, which I like, and the fact that with all this Velcro, you can definitely lay it out how you want and customize it. So alright guys, there you have it. A look at this Vertx Gamut Overland backpack. Definitely a beautiful bag, excellent features, great quality, and a number of things that it definitely has going for it. Now I do think there could be some minor tweaks to help me with my intended purpose, but it's not something that should hold you back. With this bag, with all the features, the quality, the hardware, and the overall comfort and carry, a 33-liter bag that's really great in, for me, this application. Filming, a good day pack, something like that. Now I won't be able to take this into the mountains, not a huge deal. Maybe at some point Vertx would make a larger version of this to get me deeper into the mountains and allow me to use it for backpacking, but that's not this particular bag. I do very much like it. I think the features are definitely there, and I can say I recommend it. So alright guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.